What's up, guys? Fairly Decent here. This is Fairly Decent Gaming. If you enjoy my content, please throw it a like, subscribe for more. If not, it's cool. Move on. No feelings hurt here. This video will be a movie review of the movie Skyfall. I had to watch it twice. First time I was kind of distracted with getting my vehicle stuff in order. Yesterday was a very expensive day. Did a bunch of vehicle work and smog and registration and all that crap. But anyway, so I had to watch it a second time this morning just because I got distracted halfway through and stopped paying attention, was all confused. But just so that you know what's going on in the background, it's not so important. It's just a couple of streaks I got. One was in Kill Confirmed. Second one is in Capture the Flag. As you can tell, the first one I started off 8 and 7, and then I just went on to this little streak. It was the first time I equipped dogs to actually try to get it in a kill streak instead of out of like care package or something. And I ended up getting it here. I was kind of camping and just said fuck it, I'm gonna get dogs, and my buddies were okay. They just kind of protected the back and made sure the spawns didn't flip too much unless I flipped them or something. And then the second one is the first time I actually equipped Swarm and got it. It wasn't the first game, but it was the first sitting where I actually equipped Swarm as a kill streak, and I got that as well, and that one was in Capture the Flag. Capture the Flag one and the second one, I fast forward through a lot of it because there's slow points. It's Capture the Flag, it'll happen. But anyway, that's the synopsis of the actual gameplay so that you know what's going on in the background, and it'll kind of switch out right in the middle of the video to the next clip. But anyways, the movie Skyfall, for those of you who don't know, it is the latest installment in James Bond. I'm sure everyone knows that. It's a huge release. It wasn't really a less known movie. It's a very well known movie. But I decided, since it is popular, I'm sure there's still people that haven't seen it, and we're kind of wondering if it was hype or if it was actual legitimate praise for the movie. And for me, first thing, I enjoyed the movie, but as with a lot of James Bond movies, at least the last one, Casino Royale, and this one, it feels like there's a lot of filler in the middle, just because it feels like they just needed to make the movie a little bit longer or something. But as always, James Bond movies are very action-packed. There aren't as many gadgets in this movie, which was kind of disappointing. James Bond is known for his gadgets, man. There wasn't that many in this one. I think that was kind of the point, though. It was kind of saying, the gadgets aren't really necessary anymore. They have computers. A lot of the gadgets are behind the scenes that the actual agents or whatever wouldn't necessarily be using, because the tech guys in their office, sitting in their chairs, in no danger whatsoever, are in control of all the gadgets. But I guess that was kind of the point of that movie. But quick synopsis: it's just basically James Bond is believed to be KIA. It's known in the beginning immediately that he's not, so that whole thing is not really a surprise. And obviously, it's a James Bond movie; he can't die in the beginning of the movie, so not really a spoiler. So he comes back, and it turns out that the mission that they were doing, that they thought that James Bond died at, was actually to protect a list of MI6 agents, which it ended up leaking and basically compromising the entire organization. So they're basically under attack the entire movie, and James Bond tries to stop it. I'm not going to tell who's doing it or how he's doing it or whatsoever, because that's part of finding out what's going on in the movie. Here's when the clip switches. See, 6 and 5 started off shitty, and then I go on a rape spree. Pretty amazing. Anyways, yeah, and he has to actually regain the trust of MI6, and the government has to regain the trust of the organization. So the entire movie is basically them running around trying to catch the guy that's leaking all the information and stop him from doing so. You find out other motives and stuff along the way, which makes it a little bit interesting. So the story, I feel like this story was a lot better than Casino Royale. Casino Royale kind of bored me halfway through, and I don't know if it might just be me for that, because that one felt very much so like it dragged on, and the whole premise of that story, Casino Royale, about the whole story was about water or something. I don't know, that whole thing just kind of threw me off. I was like, yeah, okay, I understand that's a valuable resource in some places, but it's boring for James Bond. It has to be something more epic. Which this one, it is a little bit more epic. You learn a lot more about James Bond's past that isn't really explained in a lot of prior movies, which is really good, because it gives you a little bit of insight of how he became the way he did, how he got to being an agent, and all that stuff. So that was really cool, and Daniel Craig does a good job. Not saying he's the best Bond. My favorite Bond is still Connery, but that's just me, my own personal preference. It's like having your personal preference for Doctor Who. It doesn't matter. It's not really wrong. It's just, hey, look, I'm at work. Fuck you. This shit's gay. Anyways, the as I was saying, it's not really wrong. It's just there's some Bonds, some Doctor Who's that are better. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent. Skyfall does stick to James Bond's roots of being cunning, and he gets the ladies, of course, all the normal James Bond stuff. It's nothing really different. So, I mean, if you enjoy James Bond, you will enjoy this movie. If you don't, you probably won't, because it's the same shit, just different story. So, but it is 50 years. That's kind of a long time. This has been going on for 50 years, and it hopefully they'll be making more. Obviously they will. It's a huge money maker. So, but the actual schedule, or the contract that they had, I guess, is expired or whatever. Daniel Craig wants to do more, but the producing companies has to do whatever they have to do on the business side to actually continue making movies and continue this story a little bit longer. And it's going to keep going. Someone's going to buy it, just like how someone bought out Star Wars. I mean, Disney bought out Star Wars. Not sure how I feel about that, by the way. Just random thought there. The last three were kind of meh, and it was written by the original guy that wrote the first original three, so I don't know. Hopefully Disney and J.J. Abrams do a good job with that. But anyways, once again, at least I'm catching myself in the tangents early on, and I'm not, blabbering on for multiple minutes about, Star Wars, because I can talk about that forever. Come on now, who can't? But if I had to give Skyfall a rating, I would say somewhere between 8 and 9 out of 10. Just because I like the gadgets, and they kind of lowered it a little bit. I like the villain in the movie. It's a very good concept. I enjoy it very much. And villains are what make a lot of these movies for me. Dark Knight, Heath Ledger, that was important. The villains are just as important as the heroes. If the villain isn't interesting, then the hero defeating them won't be interesting. So it is very, very important that the hero and the villains were both interesting in this story, which they both were. Story was good, acting was good, the casting was good. So I'd say it's somewhere between an 8 and 9 out of 10, maybe in between a 9 and a 10 out of 10. I wouldn't say it was perfect, it has its flaws, as with any movie. But anyways, this is cutting to the end. As you can see, I'm just fast forwarding through the end because it was just me dancing around while my friends get all their kills at the end of Capture the Flag. I hope you enjoy. Peace.